Yo, hey folks, Kevin, Big K Horror. So I'm going to do a quick review on this movie that's probably considered trash, bargain basement filmmaking or whatnot. I don't know, but there is a fan base to it, whatnot. It's considered probably part of the Canadian trend of filmmaking in the early 90s, late 80s, whatnot. And that film is called Things, right here. Boom. All right, and it's got a fan base, especially ever since like Intervision released it onto DVD, whatnot, and this movie is, wow, quite an experience. Let me just tell you that. Everything right down to the plot. It's pretty much about a guy who is forcing this girl to be impregnated, but instead of having kids, she hatches these like ant-like, like these rat-sized ant-like things with teeth, and these two friends of his show up with mullets. But instead of trying to hunt down these things to kill them, which they do that as well. They sit around talking about the beer they're drinking that tastes like cow shit, and other mundane things. But yeah, this movie is a very bizarre movie, and throughout the movie, a well-known 80s porn star, Amber Lynn, is seen as playing a newscaster, and she's reading the cue cards, like off screen, because she can't remember her lines, dialogue, so you can see her reading the cue cards, and she's reading headlines throughout the movie that may or may not pertain to the action of what's going on throughout the movie. I don't know. But anyway, this movie is just a very bizarre movie. It's either one of those movies when you watch, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, with all the hodgepodge of shit that's going on in this Super 8 film. And I believe, yeah, it was shot in Super 8. Anyhow, but it's just a bizarre movie. There's a lot going on in it. I'm going to have to watch this a second time to really get a full-fledged feeling of what I feel for it. I didn't hate it. But I don't know if I loved it either, And don't get me wrong, I love trash cinema. I do love all that stuff, but it's one of those movies, like every bit of audio was re-recorded over, because, they didn't use any of the original recordings, so everything was like looped over with, so it kind of did have a bit of a cheesiness to it. But then again, I do like that in my horror films too. But this was like, some people ask me, oh, was it something that would be played on USA Up All Night? No, not quite. It's a little bit more Z grade than that. But that's not a bad thing necessarily. I mean, don't get me wrong. This definitely did remind me of something I would have rented back in my youth at the mom and pop video store, and I would have watched on a rainy Saturday, and like gore awestruck, like in like some gore awestruck heaven, and it is quite gory. It is, but the little ants, like the rat-sized ant creatures with the like razor-sharp teeth, are kind of funny, and it does have some explosive gore, and all the mullets and all the bad beer and all that, it's just. Anyway, but yeah, it does kind of get funny seeing all the characters try to read off cue cards off the edge of the screen and, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, is it worth buying? You know what? It's one of those movies yet. I have to watch it a second time, maybe a third time, to actually get a full-fledged knowledge of, okay, can I recommend this movie to other people? Now, there are other fans out there who are hardcore over trash cinema. Now, if you're hardcore over dead set, like if you like Black Devil Doll from Hell and all those other films, then yeah, go get it. But for other fans who are like if you're into mainstream cinema, strictly into mainstream cinema, you may not like this. Now, I'm not strictly into mainstream cinema, so I liked it. But I'm going to have to watch this second, third time to get more of a fleshed out kind of opinion. But anyhow, not to steal a paraphrase from a book, but I've recently read a book, and it was based on another movie they were talking about, but it works just perfectly for this one as well. The best way to describe this movie, as I would describe it, is this movie works. To describe this movie would be like if you found a random VHS in the back alley of a dumpster of an abortion clinic. That's the way to describe this movie. But that's not no offense to this movie. It's great, but it's like as if you found a random VHS of someone's in the back alley dumpster of an abortion clinic. Boom. That's the Canadian film Things from 1989, 1990. And that's my opinion of this film. And if you're ever curious about it, check it out. If you've seen it, leave a comment below. All right. Peace out.